little more than 7 years now. Went to India to train this last winter. So now I'm an RYT 500 teacher. All that means to say is that I love what it is that we're doing here. This practice is a practice that is great for the body. It's great for the connection for the mind body, and the way that we sort of thread that connection is with our breath. So we're going to take a few moments here while we're opening up just to center into our space and to create the headspace and set the tempo for our practice today. So wherever you are, you're going to take a comfortable seated position. I'm going to sit in Sukhasana, an easy cross-legged seated position. Give yourself a broad base. Roll your shoulders up, out, back, and down. Level off your chin with the earth. Soften your face. Close your eyes. And breathe. Filling up the belly. And letting it go. Filling up the rib cage. And letting it go. Feeling your chest and your shoulders rise on your next breath in. And letting them fall. And breathing with all of it together, belly, ribs, chest, and shoulders. Now that we've taken a few moments just to settle into our space, let's get our palms to touch with our hands at heart center, lift our hearts, and surrender our chin towards our chest. A gentle stretch is going to appear here on the back of the neck. A fluid breath is moving through your system. Everything that you were committed to before you entered the space today has now fallen behind. Everything you have yet to encounter after this class today will remain in the future. But for here, for now, for you, tune into your body, tune into your breath, and tune into the purpose of why you are here. And with that intention set, release your arms, hands to the tops of the knees, level off your chin with the earth, and open up your eyes. Our next transition is going to be very slow, very intentional. Guide your hands to the earth in front of your ankles. Keep your spine long. Walk your hands forward. Hips rooted, spine long, heart descending. And at the end, release the chin towards your chest and breathe in this cross-legged seated forward fold. The important parts here is that there's no work being performed in the hands and in the shoulders and in the neck. Allow these spaces to simply connect and surrender. Invite your hips to feel very heavy, and if there are any organic movements that you like to bring into this pose, such as swaying of the torso, pedaling of the elbows, please feel free to customize this mudrasana as you see fit. Good. Now, walk your hands back. Your palms will place on top of your kneecaps. Hold on to those knees and lean back as far as you can. Open the heart, lift the chin slightly, and then we're going to perform a series of seated cow and seated cat. Take a breath in, lift your heart up. Exhale, chin to chest. Create a C shape with your spine. Don't be afraid to roll into the back of your hips. Again, breathe in, lift your heart, lift your chin, create a small curvature in your back. Exhale, chin to chest, round the back, splay the shoulder blades apart. A few more rounds, breathing, inhaling into your extension, and exhaling into your flexion. Remember to roll the shoulders as you go. Performing your last seated cat pose. The next time you sit tall, lift your arms up, reach for the sky, lengthen your side body, and take a seated twist to the right. Rooted hips, tall spine rotating through the belly, ribs, shoulders, and then the neck. Return to center, hands up. Exhale and twist to your left. Take a breath. Give a breath. And return to center, hands up. Good, turn the palms away, sweep your aura down and guide your hands to the earth, arms extended, just outside of your hips. A little bit of side body action here. Lift your right hand up. Keeping your hips, shoulders, and head glued to the imaginary wall behind you. Laterally extend to your left. Right hip rooted, long side body. Take a breath. Give a breath. And switch. Come up. Transition out. And perform the same pose on the other side. And transition in. When you're ready, sit tall. Return your left hand to the floor. And now guide the soles of the feet to touch. Toe to toe, just like fingertip to fingertip. Sole to sole, just like you would palm to palm. Link your fingers underneath the outer edges of the feet. Press the feet together, lengthen up your spine, and allow your knees to fall out and down. So true to form, yoga to end your day for today carries this experience about it. It carries an experience that invites you to really unwind, to relax, to reconsolidate. These days, there are so many parts of us out here that feel scattered, like things are maybe a little bit out of control. But in this space, in this practice, what I invite you to feel is the essence of the capital Y, you. This is everything that you are. Everything you are in your body, everything you are in your breath, everything you are in your spirit, everything you are in this universe. Yes, it's a little wild. Yes, it's a little chaotic, but here we connect, here we strengthen, here we open ourselves up, and here we surrender. So that amidst all this, we have a sense of union, along with a sense of freedom. Arms up, lengthen your side body, hinge forward, and with your feet in this butterfly position, hinge forward. Now, guide your eyes to the camera. This is going to be a little tricky. You're going to place your left hand right in the center. Arm extended away from the toes. You're going to place your right hand on top of your right knee. Stack the right elbow over your right wrist, and then pressing both hands into their locations, rotate through the belly, through the ribs, through the shoulders, and through the neck, looking over the right shoulder. Feet pressed together, left knee descends down. Take a breath. Give a breath. Return to center. Chin to chest. And then transition intentionally, deliberately, softly. Right hand in the center. Left hand, left knee. Elbow over wrist, hands pressed down, rotate through your axis, and look over your left shoulder. Well done. Return your hands to the center. Allow your neck to be soft. Roll up one disc at a time. Lift your hands into the sky. Turn your hands away. Sweep your aura down. Hands to the earth. Good. Now remember how you were sitting before. You place the soles of the feet together. You're going to switch the cross of your legs so you have the opposite leg in front. We're going to perform one more seated forward fold. Hands up. Reach for the sky. Hinge forward at the hips and release. Hands to mat, chin to chest. Allow the elbows, shoulders, neck to be heavy. And if you haven't taken a mindful breath in a little bit, perform 3 consecutively now. Taking deep, fulfilling breaths in, and long, emptying breaths out. When you're ready, neutralize your neck, walk your hands back, stack one disc at a time. Roll the shoulders back, level off the chin, melt the shoulders away from the ears. Good. Now we're going to transition into a new space. Release the cross of your legs and come into a tabletop position. I'm going to face sideways. You remain as you are. Palms on the earth. Spread the fingers, press down with the fingertips. Stack your bones, elbows over wrists, shoulders over elbows, knees underneath your hips. We're going to perform just a couple of rounds of cat and cow here. Lift your heart, lift your tailbone, lift your chin, belly towards the floor. Inhale. Exhale, do the opposite. Rainbow shape the spine, center of the spine to the ceiling, tailbone descending, chin towards the chest, crown towards the floor. Again, breathe in, cow pose. Exhale, round the back, splay the shoulder blades apart, cat. Well done, come into a neutral tabletop position. Tuck your left toes under, extend your right leg back, toes on the ground. Look up at the camera here, shift forward. The weight's going to shift into your fingertips. Lengthen the side body, neutralize the spine, press back now into the right heel. You're going to feel an opening here in the back of the leg, particularly in the calf. Inhale, shift forward. You're going to feel that sensation transfer into the front of the leg, particularly the hip flexor. Again, press back as you exhale and shift forward as you inhale. After you press back, you're going to float your right toes up off the ground, heel at about hip height. Good. Stabilize there, give yourself a good grounding, and then extend the opposite hand forward. So right leg in the air, left arm reaching forward, one line, thumb to shoulder, shoulder to hip, hip to heel. Take a breath in and lengthen. Exhale and squeeze, elbow to knee, chin to chest, round the back. Go ahead and take a look at what I'm doing here if you feel a little lost. And then again, breathe in and reach, kick back. Exhale, squeeze and contract. Again, inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze, that's number 3. One more extension. And then release, hands, knees to mat. Guide your knees to touch. Release the toes, sink your hips towards your heels. Place a fist on the ground, a palm on top of the fist, and rest your head there. Deep breaths with the belly. Because your thighs are together, your diaphragm won't be able to expand forward, meaning that in this embryo pose, if you breathe really deep, your diaphragm will massage your lower back from the inside out. Well done. When you're ready, return to your tabletop position. Remember, you're going to have to move your knees. Once you've stacked your bones, we're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So now it's the left leg back, left toes on the mat. Ground down with your hands, shift forward. The weight's going to shift into your fingertips. The heel is going to be in front of your toe. When you press back, the weight is going to shift into the heel of your palm. The sensation is going to move into the heel of your foot, into the calf, into the back of the ankle, into the back of the leg. Again, inhale, shift forward. Exhale and press back. One more round, giving little bits of treatment to all of our joints, our wrists, our shoulders, our elbows, our ankles, our knees, our hips. And when you're ready, float the left heel up off the ground, one line, heel to hip, tighten up that core, draw the belly in towards the back, and extend the opposite arm forward. One line, wrist to ankle. Take a breath in. Exhale, round, squeeze, elbow to knee, chin to chest, round the back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze, get as close to yourself as you can. One more time, inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze and contract. Now that you've done 3, extend one more time. Take your hands and knees to the mat. New transition coming up here. We're going to thread the needle. When you're ready, lift your right hand into the sky. Good. Exhale, sweep the right hand underneath your left armpit. Reaching towards the right side of the room. Allow the shoulder to rest. Allow the head to rest. And take just a few breaths here. Hold down and press down with your left hand. Reach the right hand up. Open your heart, rotate to the neck just a bit, and then release the right hand to the mat. Calibrate your pose. Make any adjustments that you see fit. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, preparing to thread the needle here. First, if you counter pose, left arm up. Press down firmly with the right hand, create space across the heart, and then rotate with your torso. Sweep the right hand underneath the armpit, reach as far away as you can with that left hand, and release the left shoulder, the left side of the head to the mat. Okay. Press down with your right hand. Left arm up, reach for the sky, spread the fingers. Well done. Take your hands to the mat. Good. Now, tuck your toes under. Have your knees up off the floor just a little bit, just like me. It's only 3 or 4 inches up off the ground. Press down with the entire circumference of your hand. Lift your heart through your shoulder blades. Lengthen your side body. Give a little tension to the core, and then invert. Pike the hips, tailbone up nice and high. Chest the thighs, and then press the thighs back for our first downward dog of the day. As you're looking back, you want to see your feet about as wide as your hands are. Press down across the entire rainbow of the toe mat. Tops of the thighs, lifting the hips up, outer corners of the heels, driving down. Inhale, shift forward into a high plank. Lift your chin, look forward. Exhale, downward dog, press back. 2 more rounds, shifting forward and pressing back. Last time, high plank. Last time, down dog. Good, take your knees wide to the mat. Guide your big toes to touch. Sink your hips back towards your heels and release into child's pose. If your head doesn't reach the floor, feel free to use the fist palm variation that we used earlier. And collect your breath. Collect your headspace. And return to the moment. Good. New wave, new phase coming up here. Hands on the ground. Shift up into a tabletop position. And then take your eyes to the camera because this next part can feel a little tricky. After you have your knees underneath your hips, you're going to extend your right leg out just like this. So what I mean to say is you're going to have the outer edge of the foot pressing down, inner arch lifting up, inner leg lifting up. You're going to stack your left hip over your left knee. Now, if I were to turn sideways for you, you would see the outer ankle, outer knee, outer hip, and shoulders all in the same plane. So now that you have this established, you're going to take your arms to a T. Good. And then we're going to reach towards our right side and revolve. Hand to the outer leg, opposite hand reaching for the sky. Guide the bicep close to the ear and turn the palm towards the floor. Hips shifting forward, shoulders rolling back, long arcing side body. Take a breath in. And then revolve in the opposite direction. Left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky. And take a couple of breaths here. Hips lifting forward, shoulders rolling back, neck nice, loose, and neutral. Take a breath. Give a breath. Good. Guide yourself up to center. Guide your hands down to the mat. Neutral tabletop position. And then we're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So now it's the left leg extending out. It's the right knee directly underneath the right hip. Shoulders lifted over your hips. Hands to the hips to help you calibrate. What I notice is that in this pose, sometimes the hip likes to drag forward. By placing my hands on my hip bones, I can tell if the bowl of my hips are nice and neutral. You know about the muscle energy in the feet, in the leg, and in the torso. Arms up, shoulders down. Good, reaching to the other side and revolving. Nice and easy. Hips lifting forward, shoulders rolling back. Exhale completely. Breathe in deeply. And transition with grace. Guide yourself up. And then revolve yourself down to the other side. Palm plants. Fingertips reach. Everything that touches the floor roots down. Give yourself muscle energy through your crown. Another breath in. One more exhale before we exit. Float yourself up. Hands to the mat. Knees underneath your hips. And here we are, once again, in the tabletop position. Now this time, when you extend your right leg back, you're going to step your right foot around the outer edge of the left ankle. Press into that press into that right heel. Look over your left shoulder. Good, neutral tabletop position. Same pose, opposite side. Extend your left leg back. Step the left foot outside the right. Press into the heel, reach your left ribs out, and create a crescent moon shape from your outer left hip to your outer left ear. Good. Return back to center. Guide yourself into a tabletop position. And from here, we're going to transition into downward dog and then immediately into a forward fold. So walk your hands back towards your feet, come into the forward fold in the back of your space, and take a look down. How are your feet set by default? Is the weight shifting a bit more into your heel? Are the inner arches of your feet actually parallel? Is there any way that you can more harmoniously distribute the weight underneath your feet? And once you've given yourself a good foundation, allow that foundation to send messages of support upwards. That is to say, invite your kneecaps to soften. Invite your hips to lift a little bit more as the hamstrings lengthen. Invite the ribs to fall away from the hips, the shoulders to fall away from the ribs, and the ears to fall away from the shoulders. Well done. And when you're ready, bend your knees slightly and roll up slowly, stacking one disc at a time. The slower you move, the better it will feel. Hips sliding over knees, your lumbar spine stacks, thoracic spine stacks, cervical spine stacks. Turn the thumbs away, palms shine forward, level off your chin with the earth. And here we are in Tadasana. This standing pose might look very ordinary. On the surface, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on. But if you ask any yogi, this pose in particular is the foundation, the cornerstone for all areas of awareness. That is to say, you've established your feet, you've stacked your bones. Everything is in their natural space, including your shoulder blades in their natural pockets. Now all you need to do is find the things that you need to activate. Perhaps it's feeling the skin in your hands by opening up your hands a little bit more. Maybe it's rooting your feet into the floor a little bit more and extending your crown a little higher. Simultaneously, search for the things that you can deactivate. Search for the things that you can surrender and let go of. Many of us have shoulder and neck tension. Maybe that comes from hunching the shoulders up. Maybe you can invite yourself to glide your shoulder blades down. Maybe that tension that you consistently carry in your lower back can dissipate simply by descending the tailbone, by stacking the ribs naturally over the hips. And allow your head to rest in the imaginary headrest behind you. Uniting your light and your dark, uniting your activity with your inactivity is to say you are performing perfect action, which is to say, according to the Bhagavad Gita, you are performing yoga. And with this standing meditation and observation complete, if your eyes have come to a close, invite them to open. And we'll transition into one balancing series. We're going to begin today with a very gentle tree pose, Vrikshasana. We're going to begin by placing our right heel inside our inner left ankle. Toes are going to be on the floor, kind of like a kickstand. Guide your hands to your hips. Keep your hips nice and neutral and keep your hip bones locked in over the standing leg. Really activate the standing thigh. Now, place the arch of the right foot inside the curvature of the left calf. Keeping your hips square, you're going to now draw the right knee back, opening up this inner right leg. If you feel stable, if you feel steady, go ahead and move your hands from your hips, which you're going to keep square, and place your palms together with your hands at heart center. And for those of you that feel comfortable here and are seeking another level, join me as I raise my arms up, lengthen my side body. Guide my hands to heart center again. As my hands come down, my right toes will come to the mat. My feet will level off. Chin will come to chest. Close your eyes and observe. Compare the sensation in your right leg to the sensation in your left. Notice if you've experienced any shifts in the way that you're perceiving yourself, your environment, the current space. And then take a breath in and let it go. Same pose, opposite side. For those of you that need to reset your feet, reset your feet. Hands on the hips, beginning just like we did last time. This time it's our left heel inside our inner right ankle. Give yourself a good foundation underneath your standing leg. Standing leg, thigh, active, hips, square, spine, long. Take the elbows back, open up the heart space just a little bit, nice. And when you're ready, arch of the left foot inside the curvature of the left calf. From here, you can focus your attention on the opening that occurs in the inner left hip by drawing this knee back. But you don't want to do this at the expense of the neutral hips. Guide your hands to heart center. Fix your gaze. Find one stationary, still object. And then once your gaze is fixed, allow your eyes to soften. Invite your peripherals to take over. And finally, those of you joining along with this, with the highest challenge that I'll present today, a little movement with your balance. Lift your arms up. And as the hands glide down, glide your floating foot to the ground, heel to the ground, chin to chest, close the eyes, and look inwards again. Good. When you're ready, lift your chin, open your eyes, and release your hands. Next, we're going to perform a little series being based in Warrior One. So what this means is we're going to take a step forward with our right leg. The step forward is going to be about legs length. After you've taken a step forward, you're going to guide your awareness to your back foot, turn the toes out about 15 degrees, and you should be able to press down into, if I'm doing it this way, you should be able to press down into the outer edge of the back foot. So with the outer edge of the back foot pressing down, toes rotate a little out. Opposite foot, your front foot. There's one line from your second toe into your knee into your hip. Take your hands to your hips, elbows back to open up the heart space. And then keeping your spine long, bend into the front knee. Good, so what's important here? What's important here is that you have a good base underneath your feet. Let's all take our hands to the mat. You should be able to distribute the weight evenly between your back foot and your front foot. The bend in the front knee should be stacked nicely over the outer front ankle. Airplane your arms back just like I am here. Look into the camera, glue your wrists to your hips. Engage your core. Now lengthen the back of your neck, eyes on the floor. Take your hips forward. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your hands up. And here you are in Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Take a breath. Give a breath. Good. Take your hands back to the mat. Lift your back leg up, standing splits. And now match your feet together. Well done. When you're ready, roll up easy, one disc at a time. And when you get to the top, we're going to prepare to do the same pose with the opposite leg in front. So whatever leg you started with in the back, it's now going to be different. For me, it's going to be my right foot behind, left foot in front. Find your feet. Stabilize your knees, neutralize your hips, energize your front body, hands on the hips, know that they're square, a little internal rotation happening in the back leg. Descend the tailbone down. Good. And then bend into the front knee. Take a breath. Give a breath. And then softly melt forward. Hands to the earth. Release the chin towards your chest. Good. Be heavy. Feel the yin. Feel the darkness. Get as close to yourself as you can. And then lift the chin. Airplane the arms back. Wrist to hips. Eyes on the camera if you lost me again. Draw the belly in. Lift your heart between your shoulder blades. Sink the hips and guide them forward. Roll the shoulders down and back. Hands to the sky, Warrior 1. Good, hands down again. Standing splits, back leg lifts into the air. Front leg lengthens. And then return the back leg to match your front. Standing in the front of your space now. Good, everybody bend your knees significantly. Place your right hand on the earth, just in front of your toes and between your feet. Straighten your left leg, left arm up, open your heart space, and look up towards your left hand. Again, right knee bent, left leg straight, left arm reaching up, take a breath in. Exhale, bend both knees, replace. And switch. Left knee bent, right leg straight, right arm up, breathe in and look up. Release. Then come all the way up, stand tall, spread your wings, reach for the sky. Awesome, turn your palms away, sweep your aura down. And allow your shoulders to relax. Good. Now for this next pose, I'm going to turn sideways so you see what's going on. Clasp your hands behind your tailbone. Have your thumbs resting against your tailbone. Guide your elbows back so you're really creating a lot of breadth across your chest. Now, many of us will tend to jut our necks forward in this. You want to have your neck nice and tidy, ears over shoulders. And just like we've been demonstrating all day, give yourself a good base underneath your feet. From here, you're going to extend your hands. Bend and extend from the elbow. Move your hands away from your tailbone and point your knuckles towards the floor. Now, for some of you in this space, your hands have disconnected from one another like this. And if that's you, that's okay. What's important here is that you're getting this circularization across the chest. You're getting this extension through the back of the arm. And from here, you're going to lift your heart up, performing a little bit of a back bend, and open up your throat, pointing your nose towards the sky. With your hands clasped or not, take a breath in, And then release into a forward fold. Keep your arms exactly as they are, either hands reaching up for the sky or reaching your knuckles up in the same direction. Bend into your right knee significantly. Feel your shoulders rotate. Good. Inhale, straighten both legs, and do the same thing on the opposite side. Well done. Straighten both legs. Exhale, release. Strength of your arms takes you up. Grow tall. Release your hands, hands to the sky. Good, and with your feet hip width apart, bend into your knees and come into a gentle chair pose. Guide your wrists to your hips, airplaning your arms just like we were earlier. Your straight arms are going to give you a sense of perception for how straight your spine is. If you feel like you're doing a really big back bend, give a slight contraction to your abs. Turn your thumbs away to open up your heart. Good, keeping your heart open, guide your palms to touch with your hands at heart center. Lift your chin over your fingertips. There you are in a nice neutral line. Take a breath in. And sink your hips a little more. Take a breath in. And sink your hips a little more. Take a breath in. And then soften, melt, hands to the earth. Knees to the earth. I'm going to turn towards you now, and we're all going to meet in a hero's pose. Hips to heels, shins on the ground, shoulders over hips. Everybody lift your arms up. Turn your palms away. With your arms extended, guide your fingertips to the ground. And give your legs a little support by pressing down with your fingertips and taking the weight out of your heels just a little bit. Now, what you might be able to feel is the sensation of holding a slinky from the top. And as though you were holding a slinky from the top, invite the bottom to sort of drop out. You can manipulate the hips in a way that allows the lower back to loosen, to lengthen, to release tension. And if you feel comfortable doing so, take the weight out of your hand. The weight's going to shift more into your hips and into your heels. Guide your hands to heart center and lift your heart against your hands. And close the eyes. And with that meditation and observation complete, take your hands to the side, sweep your legs around. And now we're going to come into a sequence that's going to be done from our backs on the floor. So position yourself in a space to either where you can kind of see the camera. What we're ultimately going to come to is a position preparing for bridge pose. Soles of the feet on the ground, shoulder blades in their natural pockets. Index fingers might be able to barely graze the edge of your heels. Lengthen the back of your neck so that the back side of your head is balanced on the mat. Good, and then flip your thumbs outwards, so that way your palms are facing up. Awesome. Now, press down with your feet, lift your hips up, and walk your elbows in. Guide your shoulder blades a little closer together. And if it's accessible for you, clasp your fingers, just like we did just a few moments ago. If you're clasping your fingers with the same fingers set on top, open up your hands and switch the clasp. Reach your knuckles toward your heels, press down with your forearms, press down with your feet. Reach your hips towards your knees. Use your glutes to lift your hips. Activate your core, circularize through your chest, and guide your heart closer towards your chin. One breath. Two breaths. Third breath, lift your hips a little higher and release your hands and roll down slowly. Take a few breaths, one disc at a time, being laid down like tracks on a bulldozer. Thoracic spine will connect, ribs will connect, lumbar spine will connect, hips and sacral region will connect. Eventually the coccyx will descend. Good. Now from here, you're going to keep your hips on the floor. Float your feet up off the floor. Good. Now keeping your knees bent, place the soles of your feet as though the soles of your feet were walking on the ceiling. From here, you're going to guide your elbows inside your thighs. You're going to drop your knees towards your armpits. Your hands are going to go inside your calves at first, and then around the back, grabbing onto the outer ankles, perhaps onto the outer corners of the heels. This is a modified child's pose. For those of you that really like child's pose, you can feel free to come into it. But what we're ultimately doing here is we're having our hips on the ground, our spine nice and long, our arms nice and long. We're not pulling with our biceps at all. We're just going to use the weight of our shoulders and our back to do the work. And then once linked up, take a big breath with your belly. Any space that's still holding on, invite it to let go. We're going to be here for a few more moments. So be gentle, be kind. Invite yourself to be at ease. Invite yourself to feel like a little kid. This is, after all, a relative of happy baby. Good. Now this next twist is going to be a little tricky, so listen carefully. Open out your arms to a T. Good. Now, what you're going to see me do here is you're going to see me stack my right hamstring, the back of my right leg, over the top of my left thigh. Now I'm going to hug my outer right ankle against the outer edge of my left shin. Once established, I'm going to take a breath in, and then we're going to invite our knees to fall to the left. So the inner arch of the right foot is going to land on the ground. Hips are going to rotate, shoulders will stay fixed. And if you receive an invitation for your chin to fall towards your right shoulder, please feel free to accept it. And when you're ready, neutralize your neck. Float your knees up to center. Switch the cross of your legs. And perform the same pose on the other side. Now, if the legs cross a little bit too much, feel free to have your shins neutral. And when you're ready, you're going to take both of your knees to the right. And again, if you have an invitation for your chin to fall to the left, feel free to do so. Okay. And when you're ready, neutralize your chin. Guide your knees back to center. Unwind your legs and guide your feet to the mat. Snow angel your arms down. They're going to end up about 8 to 10 inches away from your hips with enough space for air to breathe underneath your armpits. Balance the weight of the hand on the middle knuckle. Shoulder blades in their natural pockets. Back center of the head rested on the ground. After that, you're going to take baby steps forward, walking your feet forward, and eventually arriving in a space where your legs can be extended comfortably. Enough space that way air can breathe between the thighs. Your feet feel comfortable rolling out without any undue tension being placed on the lower spine. And from here, in the Shavasana, I'm going to guide you through a progressive relaxation. Lying down on your backs with your eyes closed. Nestled comfortably, trust the structure that you've created. And then just surrender. Just watch. And like a flower that's been exposed to the sun, eventually that bud is going to soften. Eventually, your petals will open. And eventually, you will flower in your greatest possible form. Give it time. Give it life. Give it air. And nurture it with your inner water. Notice the air breathing between your toes. Notice the weight of the leg bones. Notice the rootedness in your hands, the heaviness in your arms, the anchoring in your shoulders. Notice the soft ebb and flow occurring in the space between your hips and your shoulders. Slightly part your teeth. Release the tongue into the lower palate. Soften the tension between the eyebrows. Invite your eyes to sink into the back of their orbits. And imagine what it would feel like to feel your brain slide into the back of its skull and give your mind a break. These last few moments here are ultimately for you. For you to be exactly as you are, as naturally as you are, with nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, no one that you need to present yourself to be. Just you in your own pure, blissful awareness, completely open and completely seen. Sometimes it can feel rare, and often it feels incredibly nice to feel this safe, to feel this supported, and to do it without any feelings of restriction or activity. What a way to end your day. And then when you're ready, invite small movements to the fingertips and to the toes, rollings of the wrists and of the ankles, the hips, the shoulders, the neck, if it feels comfortable. Lift your arms overhead, give your side body a nice stretch. Draw your left foot in, press off of that foot, and roll onto your right side, coming into a fetal position. Left palm on the ground underneath your heart, right arm acting like a pillow. And then keeping your consciousness steady, your gaze soft, press your left hand into the earth, and guide yourself into an easy, cross-legged, seated position. Remove the flesh from underneath your hips deeply rooted. After that, with your hips rooted, courageously broaden your heart space, expand your collarbone, and finally, divinely ascend through your crown. One more breath together, release your arms down and out. Breathe in, reach for the sky. Palms coming to touch, and guide the hands down. Thumbs past the forehead. May we think the right thoughts, pass our lips. May we speak the right words, and arriving at our heart. May our thoughts, our words, our actions reflect the purest intentions of our truest self. No matter how your day went today, I thank you for showing up and ending your day in the best way possible. A way that was designed to meet you. A space that was designed to serve you. Thank you for joining me in a practice that makes us stronger, more open, more balanced, and more aware. The light in the teacher in me bows to the light in the teacher in you. Namaste.